calling herself a him is a girl and will grow up to be a woman. And it doesn't matter if she has her breasts sliced off. It doesn't matter what she calls herself. When it comes to how at risk she has from male violence, she is just as much at risk.
I'm his mother. Get it right, bitch. Tell him again, Ma, you my fucking mother. I'm cisgender, but even I understand. Why the fuck can't y'all? Turfs, go home.
The voice you may be able to hear screaming is a young boy who's been gaslit by his autogynephile father, who claims that he's a woman, claims that he's his mother. AGPs, like fetishy, pervy men, they gaslight their children, they gaslight their wives, and they just tell everybody that they're the victims. No man that walks around in a bad wig and makeup is a victim. Okay, who's next?
Thank you, Kellie-Jay. Thank you for standing up for the truth and for my daughter's future.
She needs to go back to her side of the fucking pond.
You need to go back to your side of the fucking bathroom.
And if you're in PA and you're a taxpayer and you don't know that your taxes are paying for this, you're paying for youth to mutilate their bodies, you should be very alarmed about that. The Top Gender Clinic secured 100% rate of insurance coverage for puberty blockers with the help of our governor. From 2015 to 2021, Pennsylvania saw a 5,000% increase in spending on gender-affirming care for minors under 18.
All they want, all those groomers want, is mutilated kids, so giant AGPs can pretend it's not a fetish. That guy gaslighting his kids, he doesn't give a shit about children, otherwise he wouldn't have pretended to be a woman.
Like, we don't give a fuck about what they got to say. If we did, we wouldn't have all this loud ass amplifications.
These parasitical invaders are eating our movements from within, trying to tell women that we have to accept them in our spaces. And very sadly, there's children gaslit on the other side, and there's a load of women who think they're going to earn some sort of sanctuary when those men take over. It doesn't matter how much you get on your knees and fillet these men, they're still going to steal your rights. Your dad's a pervert. Your dad's a pervert, love. Your dad's an AGP pervert. All those people have got is lies. Lies about me, lies about what biological sex is, lies about their motivations. Every single one of those men with their pretty makeup and their bad wigs, they just want to get their penis out in spaces that we don't want them. Sexism. Do we all forget about what sexism is? It's a discrimination on the basis of one's sex. There is no such thing as girl power or black girl magic if you can't define what a girl is. And acknowledge that women's bodies are different from male bodies. And that the two are not interchangeable. And do you know why else we're going to win? Because I never lose! Hello, good afternoon. How the devil are you? Isn't this great? So I thought I would put my very bright top on to make me feel that for a moment it's not going to be pig and freezing tomorrow night, and I think we know it is. I don't know why I can't get rid of me. That's better. Hi. Okay, so Oldham's really, really important. I thought I'd do Starmer Starmer Country Harmer. I feel like it's quite hilarious. Because that's me. It's interesting, isn't it? Look, I say this about myself all the time because, I'm a raging narcissist. So, if you don't like it, tune in elsewhere. But I say this about Let Women Speak all the time. It has a profound effect on conversations. And why? Not because I'm a genius, not because in real life I don't have filters, and not even because I am the most charismatic woman on the planet. Like none of those reasons, actually, they don't make any difference. It's because ordinary women with ordinary voices and a normal way of speaking, right? Women that don't know they're brilliant, women that have no idea that when they get that microphone, they just make magic, right? And why? Because other people listening and other women listening hear themselves. And it's just incredible. So, and Let Women Speak as a platform by women, for women, by me, and the incredible women that work alongside me. And Ali Snyder. I mean, I'm told I have to mention her. But it's, the women, the women reading out all the statistics in the US, and that was by Liberty Bell. But the women reading out those statistics, oh my God, they knew their stuff. they just knew their stuff. And we get loads of that at Let Women Speak. And you women in Oldham and women that want to show support for what's happened in Oldham and all over the country with people who have been victims of grooming gangs, which I think is very unique because of the way that nobody wants to address it, right? And they want to kind of blend it and fold it into something else because they don't really want to unearth what it is. Like, we know that predatory pedophiles are the most despicable people on earth, right? We know that pedophilia is disgusting. I never want it normalized. I don't care how some people want to sanitize it. It doesn't really work for me. I'd rather look, maybe some people can't help it. I don't believe that, but let's say that's even true. I still don't care. I'm still quite happy that they live a miserable subsistence and that we all kind of make them feel deeply ashamed and embarrassed and horrendous about whatever it is that's going on with them. I'm quite happy for them to be ostracized from society, full stop. And if any one of them had ever come anywhere near my children, I probably can't communicate to you the insane level of violence that I conjure in my head. And what I would do to that person and how I'd probably enjoy it. So anyway, enough about my craziness. But Keir Starmer, the man who would order an inquiry to find out if a Jaffa cake was actually cake, he's very frightened of a he seems to be very frightened of having an inquiry. And what do we think the fears are around the inquiry? Well, I think it will unearth corruption that probably exists in all strata in varying degrees, but I think it will unearth that inadvertently. We will see sort of police corruption, close links and ties with criminal gangs, not just paedophile, criminal, rape, torture, paedophile gangs, but also drug gangs and so on. I think we will find some threads. I think we will find that some serving police officers were actually involved in the rape of those girls. I think we will find some care home operators involved in the rape of those girls. So I think there'll be lots of those themes as well. Maybe they don't want that to come out. And along with some other things that we've discovered over I think sort of Pakistan has an incredibly high rate of incest. I think that we've recently found out that 70% of Pakistanis in the United Kingdom, or certainly in London, have first cousin marriages. And this is another thing. And when there are all these things we're not allowed to discuss, like in Pakistan, there are baby girls on carrier bags. And do we think that what will be uncovered in this thing is a cover-up? I mean, are we going to find ourselves like Sharia courts, right? There are many of them operating, and in that documentary I shared on Twitter the other day by Trevor Phillips, they talked about in the Sharia court that women get a really bad deal, and this was a Muslim academic from Holland who was doing this research, and I think there are questions to be answered, and let me just say, if we are not allowed to answer these questions, if we're not allowed to ask these questions, someone will. Someone will. Now, I know that if you and your cousins and your brothers and your uncles and your friends are all in a room, like gang raping an 11 or 12-year-old, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, I don't expect the women in your family and the girls in your family are very well respected. I'm going to say that as much as you hate the little white girls that you decided to hunt and pick up, I think it is very likely that you have a poor view of women generally, because you see those white girls as an object, as a property of white men. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think that you probably really do despise women quite generally, and I think that we really have to think about this in this country. What do we want to hide? What do we want to know? Who do we protect when we hide this stuff? And what kind of massive, crazy backlash are we holding back? And as we hold it back, and the more we hold it back, and the more we push it back, the more energy we give that backlash. And what is that backlash going to look like? Like, seriously, what is the backlash going to look like? Because I don't think it's going to look like a few people going out. I think it will be enormous. I think it will be violent. I don't think it will be good. So, I'm just very fearful, because what we are seeing, the naming of the problem is a very specific community religion. It's very specific. There's a number of issues that don't seem to be particularly cohesive. And if we don't sort it out, and I would imagine education level is part of this, if we don't sort it out, we do leave ourselves very open in this country to either not be able to speak about it at all, allow these blasphemy laws come in, or I just can't. I can't get a grip on it myself on how this ends well unless we do have an inquiry. I just don't. I don't think, if you keep going, well, I'm going to say about this, but I'm also going to say I really hate the far right. I hate people that talk about the far right. I hate people that have ever read a book that references the far right. I hate people, like, I'm definitely not one of those people who would ever sit on a bus that somebody else had sat on a bus, that somebody else had sat on a bus, if the bus had passed a stop where somebody had actually drawn the words far right on a wall. I'm definitely not that person. And so, to prove that, I'm going to say that whilst all those men were getting away with raping everyone, the raping the little girls, like gang raping, torture raping the little girls, the reason they were doing that is because the police were worried about being accused of being Nazis. So it's all absolutely fine. And sorry, just one moment. I'm still in the WhatsApp group, so I haven't upset anyone. And I just think there has to come a time where we can talk about this stuff. And do you know what would make this? It's just a suggestion. Do you know what would make this easier to talk about for everybody? if those community, do you remember the police with all the community leaders standing around? Do you remember? And the police were like, and there was, or that woman whose son had drawn in the Quran, and that woman was there with all those men standing around. Do you remember? One of them was sat like this. In fact, let me see if I can find it, because that would be really good. Woman apologizes about son and... There we go. Right. I'm going to play it for you. Let me make sure before I play it, because that would be dumb. Nope, not that one. Anyway, so a mother... Here we go. Oh, God. I'm so great. It's because I'm a technical wizard. So I'm going to share my screen. Oh, he dropped a Quran, maybe.
We have had to call the police. He has received death threats. He has received threats that he will be beaten up if he goes back to school. He's absolutely petrified. But I don't want anybody to be prosecuted because of the stupidity of my son and his friends. So it was more about making sure that he's safe and just having those conversations so that people understand that he is a silly 14-year-old boy who's been very disrespectful, but assures me that he will never be that disrespectful.
So that's... I just want to show you that. I'm hoping you could see it. So anyway, so I couldn't quite work out then what she was saying. Did she say she doesn't want anyone arrested? Like, he's received loads of threats, but she doesn't want anyone prosecuted. Tell you what, you threaten my children, and I'll be the one needing a prosecution, I'll tell you that. Anyway, so what would maybe help? Those men that were sat there? I reckon it would be amazing if they could come out and say something. Do you remember? Like, they could condemn the people that have done it. In fact, wasn't that man who was sat with the beard and the hat? He looked like that councillor who was then trying to clear up or doing something with the riots, the recent riots. Not the ones where people got imprisoned. Don't be so... Oh my God, you're so... Not those, no. The other ones, the ones where people actually got prosecuted and done for criminal damage. Not the riots where people were like setting fire to police cars and stuff. Not that. No, not that one. It was the other one. Anyway, so I think he might be a councillor or an MP. But anyway, so I'd like to see those same community leaders who come out and the police say, well, we had a conference with the community leaders and we've taken their lead because they're in control, not us. So I would like to see those community leaders come out, make their own press conference about how disgusting the paedophiles are, how it's a black mark on their community, how they would like to make everyone very, 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 very sure, right? Very clear, reassured that this is a problem that they are definitely dealing with, and they're going to work with the authorities until all the paedophile torture rapists have actually been caught. That would, oh my God, that would do so much for all of us, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? But I don't think we're going to get that. Someone's Emma T. Sad about Duffield. I could have told you anything about that woman a long, long time ago. Rosie Duffield has thrown me under the bus on more than one occasion, completely unnecessarily, including retweeting and boosting a Russell Moyle post where he misrepresented what I said, which actually coincidentally was me talking about Gillett competence and how people with nefarious intent, I don't know, like paedophile groomers, and how they use it in order to stop them not being able to continue to rape and torture girls. So they use a Gillick competence so girls can go and get contraception and abortions without their parents' permission. Obviously, like children, girls, children. And Moyles posted it, and then Rosie posted it as if I was literally a pro-lifer, which I'm not, but I don't have anything against pro-lifers. I just don't agree with you. But yeah, it was quite interesting. So, you know, it's not any surprise to me that she has virtue signaled to her friend on the left about how she's a good person, really, and she voted against an inquiry into grooming gangs. So let me just remind you all, and I'll play that video at the end so everyone can see. Tomorrow we're going to be in Oldham. In fact, let me just change the little message across the screen. Tomorrow, Let Women Speak Oldham is happening. It's the first time where we have really gone somewhere where we feel, I mean, we always go somewhere where women's voices need to be heard. But we've chosen Oldham because of the news story. And we feel that the vehicle that we offer for voices, women's voices, is a really appropriate way of helping. And Party of Women and Let Women Speak, as a combined effort, is going to be there to make sure that anyone who wants to talk about this can. And what that does is that goes out to everybody. It will be watched and quite well on Twitter. So I would imagine we'll get about 10,000 live views on Twitter while it's on. So I'm just going to say to all the other women, like any woman who feels that she has a story to tell, you are really, really welcome to come and tell it at Let Women Speak. If you want to write down some words and I'll read them out for you, or ask your friend to read them out, that's absolutely fine. We are here to promote your voices. That's what Let Women Speak does. It is a vehicle for women to feel that however they want to speak, whatever they want to say, that there is space for them to do it. And we give them that. And you don't have to align with anything else. I don't have to align with you on anything else. You can be whatever you want on the political spectrum. You can be whatever you want on any position on anything. Muslim women, you are more than welcome. Counsellors, you are more than welcome. Christians, you are more than welcome. Atheists, you are more than welcome. Women who have never been a victim of anything, you are more than welcome. And women who feel that they have a story to tell of survival, you are more than welcome. It is a non-partisan. It is just creating the space for you to talk. It is it's a magical little thing that we do. I was in a meeting earlier today, and one of the women just reminded me of a woman from Colchester, and I think about her often because she came to the event, she said what she said, and then I don't think anyone's, I don't think she's part of a network or anything. I think maybe she just occasionally watches something that I do at home. I don't know. But she came and told her story about going to Aquafit and there being a man in the class or in the changing room and trying to complain about it and nobody standing with her. And it's incredible. Like what this thing does is incredible. Come and say whatever it is that you want to say, and we will be there. So it's 1 till 3 at the Annie Kenney statue, which I think is near the Odeon Cinema. We will have a police presence, and we just, the more of you come, the more women, the more noise we make, right? So the more of us can gather. And let's face it, any other thing that's happened that's focused on this, any other event where everybody is welcome to come that's focused on this, they have had the accusations of far right thrown at them, right? Well, they can't do that to us. They can't. Many have tried. Many have tried, but they can't do that to us. We're just women. That's what we are. We're just women. We're just women with stories who want to tell people what's happened to us and what our concerns are. So I just want you to know, whoever you are welcome. And I'm really, really just very proud of the movement that we have. That's nice. So Sarah says the atmosphere between women at the LWS is so supportive and friendly. I totally agree. Yeah, if you want to help us do these events, you can donate or go and buy yourself. Look at that. Come on. It's funny. Starts conversations. It's funny. Yeah, so the left is destroying itself for the country, and very true. And the country they reside in. It's very, very true. So if you would like to come along, it's 1 o'clock until 3 o'clock at Annie Kenny statue in Oldham. It is going to be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it. I hope you all come. We are going to be doing some others of these around the country so that we can give as many women a voice as possible. Turf Talk will be returning as soon as possible. And we also might just call one of them. So one will be, well, we'll just call it Turf Talk because we're all bloody turfs, really, aren't we? Certainly people who've been victims of sexual violence. So you have to come tomorrow. It's your chance, right? Even just standing there and being a member will make a difference. It's your chance. Oh yeah, here you go. Are you in the US and you like my hoodie? This weekend, order any hoodie in the US and get 2 free sets of no extra ball stickers. Well, what a veritable genius you are, Ali Snyder. So look, if you can be a body, can stand, be a visible sign of support for these women, then I promise we will win. If you can keep speaking the truth, even when everybody has decided that anything you say is not polite enough, not well spoken enough, the tone's slightly off. If you can just speak it anyway, I promise we will win. And do you know why else we're going to win? Well, because I never lose.
Vulnerable girl who just spoke to me, calling herself a him, is a girl and will grow up to be a woman.